Yo, what's going on, guys? Sinister Skater here. We've had some major news drop for Call of Duty 2020. Yes, that's right, Call of Duty 2020. We have a little bit of information for Call of Duty 2019 coming out later this year, but huge news for 2020. I'm going to lay it all out for you, get all the news out there up for you up front, and I'll go over my thoughts, kind of the implications from this after that. But this is a developing story, so kind of take this as a rumor, but Jason Schreier from Kotaku has reported that the original Call of Duty title for the year 2020 was being developed by Sledgehammer Games, who developed Advanced Warfare, World War II, and Raven Software, who's done some support roles in the past Call of Duties. That game has been canned. It's been canceled. It's done. And the new Call of Duty title for 2020 is now going to be developed by Treyarch, and it's going to be Black Ops 5. So the CoD game, let me say that again, the CoD game for 2020 that's been in development, that's been canceled, and now Treyarch is going to have less than 2 years to be making a new one. It's going to be titled Black Ops 5. This is the first time they're going to be breaking the 3-year Call of Duty development cycle. They've been switching off between Infinity Ward, Treyarch, and Sledgehammer since 2012, starting with Black Ops 2. Which is kind of nuts. But wait, there's much more than what I've told you so far. So Raven Software apparently has been the lead developer for CoD 2020, which is their first time taking the main role, if I remember correctly, in a Call of Duty development. Sledgehammer Games was actually acting as the assistant developer for this Call of Duty 2020. That's a complete flip-flop from like many years of development prior. Sledgehammer has always been the lead for their own games. Infinity Ward's always been the lead for their own games, Schreier for their own games. And Raven's always been like in an assistant dev for nearly every CoD since Black Ops 3, I think. I mean, the reason the game was actually canceled was because of creative tension between Sledgehammer and Raven. We're going to guess that they just have completely different visions for the game. Probably there's been non-stop arguments, and there's the development of the CoD 2020 has been a complete mess between the two studios. So that's not good at all. Well, it could be good for the franchise, but it's not good for the studios, developers, and just the people in general. Now, Michael Condrey and Glenn Schofield, they were the leads of Sledgehammer Games during the World War II era, not the actual war, Call of Duty World War II, and they left Activision actually a few months back. They got promoted, and then they left, and Condrey actually started up his new studio, which is with 2K Games, and he's been actually recruiting Sledgehammer staff ever since. So what Sledgehammer was at the end of World War II no longer is. And I would assume that he's been recruiting people to his new studios because all those developers that worked with Condrey before want to go help him. That means Sledgehammer Games has shrunk, and that's why Raven has taken the lead for this role, because they have more people, they have more power to pump out a game. Now, that takes care of CoD 2020, so what's happened after that is now that Activision has assigned Raven and Sledgehammer to act as supporting studios for Treyarch as they start to develop their brand new game for 2020 instead of their canceled project, which is supposed to be Black Ops 5. Interestingly enough, Sledge and Raven were working on a Cold War era game. It's assumed they've been working on the campaign primarily, maybe the engine, assets like that, but pretty much getting the bare bones of the game developed before starting on other modes like multiplayer and things like that. And Raven and Sledgehammer are supposed to transform all that work that they've put into their game into a campaign for Black Ops 5, which is also going to be set during the Cold War, which is actually when Black Ops 1 was set. It was set in the Cold War, so we're going to be going back to that era in a Black Ops game again, which is, I have questions about that. We'll get to that later. And the last bit from this article is that it's all that confirmed that this year for 2019, Infinity Ward is going to be releasing a Modern Warfare game, and Activision executives have actually been discussing going free-to-play as a revenue model for Call of Duty, and they discussed offering a free-to-play component for this year's Modern Warfare game. So they phrased it as a component, not as like actually going with the whole game, so that could be a free-to-play Battle Royale mode or Spec Ops or something in this game. So that's all the news. That's kind of everything that's been released in this article. Huge drop. I mean, this is absolutely huge. I have a bunch of questions just wondering what this implies for the future of Call of Duty. So this is the first time they've broken the 3-year cycle, as I've said. Now, is that a good thing or is that a bad thing? Because the reason they started the whole 3-year developer cycle is that so developers had more time to put into their games and polish their games and do more with their games. But most recently, especially with Black Ops 4, you know, they didn't have the full 3 years apparently to develop the game, and it kind of made them rush and act like they had 2 years, maybe even less than 2 years to develop a game. So some developers weren't even getting the full 3 years. And if you look back, a lot of the Call of Duty games that people love, most of them are from before the 3-year cycle. Black Ops 2 and before. You know, I personally liked Ghost. Black Ops 3 was pretty good. I liked Infinite Warfare. Didn't have too much of a problem with World War II, but I have to say, like, most of my favorite Call of Duties are before that. So is that going to like affect the quality of the games that we're having? And the 2-year cycle is actually a good thing, and the 3-year cycle is actually what's been harming the Call of Duty franchise. I'm really curious to see how this change is going to start shaking things up, and if they're going to stick with the 2-year cycle or go back to the 3-year or bring in a new studio or what. So Treyarch's going to have 2 years, not even the full 2 years, to develop this Call of Duty 2020. Actually, I'm going to call it Black Ops 5 just to, I've said Call of Duty 2020 so many times to avoid confusion. But because it sounds like the decision to cancel Sledgehammer and Raven's game was made fairly recently. So it's just weird, you know. Black Ops 4, the whole rumor of that is that it was scrapped. The campaign was scrapped because Activision didn't like the direction the game was going in, and development for that was rushed. And then they kind of scrapped the multiplayer because it was more of a hero shooter, kind of like Overwatch with special abilities and just different gear in the game. And then they scrapped that and made it more Call of Duty-esque. Just the whole development cycle for Black Ops 4 flip-flopped a lot, and it felt rushed, and that's what resulted in the current state of Black Ops 4 now. So I don't know if I should be worried about Black Ops 5 in their development, but they're going to have 2 additional studios, Raven and Sledgehammer, helping them out with the development. So, you know, it sounds like Treyarch doesn't have to worry about too much about making the campaign, which eats up a lot of development time, so I guess that's good. But back to my train of thought that was going on. So the whole state of Black Ops 4 right now, a lot of people were blaming that because of the production mess. And some, you know, people like Black Ops 4, but it has a bad reputation with a lot of the hardcore players, including myself. My major problem is with the microtransaction system and just customization and progression in the game right now. Are we going to have to suffer through that again with Black Ops 5? Because we kind of did the same thing with Black Ops 3, although I didn't have too much of a problem with Black Ops 3, but I don't want to go through Black Ops 4 again with Black Ops 5. And it brings up the question is the reason Treyarch has been less frequent with updates since 2019 has started and are being over-aggressive with microtransactions is to start focusing on developing Black Ops 5 or to impact for if a game doesn't do too well in the future, say MW4 or Black Ops 5 flops, so you have to kind of, you know, up their revenue right now with Black Ops 4. I'm just wondering, like, what they're going to do for Black Ops 5 as well. I mean, Black Ops 4 just seems like that was the final Black Ops series game. The only link to the previous 3 games in Black Ops 4 was the specialist for the most part, and then all these after the fact blackout character skins they've added, but it felt like Black Ops 4 was going to be the end. I don't know what they're going to do for Black Ops 5, especially if they're going back to the Cold Era. They're going to do like an alternate timeline, a complete new game, and just put the Black Ops title in it with new characters, or what? I mean, I don't even know if I want a Black Ops 5 game. I personally have wanted to see a new Call of Duty title for a while. We've had Black Ops and Modern Warfare over and over again. That's coming up with Call of Duty Mobile. That game's based on the 2 series, so I don't know, man. I'm just kind of worried. The Modern Warfare game coming out later this year too. I was excited for that. I kind of had high hopes, but now I'm kind of getting worried for that too. And just Call of Duty as a franchise because of this. It just seems like everything's been a mess the last couple of years. And I'm starting to wonder if Infinity Ward's had the full time to develop Modern Warfare 4, and if, you know, the reason they're doing Modern Warfare 4 is to, you know, just kind of bring in that nostalgia factor and get people excited about the game, kind of like how what happened with World War II. A lot of people were excited for that, and then they were disappointed. Same kind of deal with Black Ops 4. I wonder if that's going to be the case for Modern Warfare 4, and that's the reason they're doing Black Ops 5, to bring more hype and get people excited in case that flops. You know, I don't know what's going to happen. You can only speculate from now. The only thing I know is it seems like the whole production for Call of Duty has been a mess. And one other thing I wanted to bring up, and I guess I don't know if I reported on this channel or not, but a couple weeks or a month ago, it was reported that Lee Ross, who was the head of Infinite Warfare Zombies over at Infinity Ward, he came over to help develop with Treyarch and help, what's his name? Jason Blundell with Treyarch Zombies. I guess we don't have to speculate about why that transition was made anymore. It just makes sense that they're going to help develop speed up either Black Ops 4 zombies, because I think they were doing a season 2 with zombies for that, and they have to definitely go into crunch time with that. They're going to do it before Call of Duty 2020 comes out with Black Ops 5, or if you're just going to help develop zombies for Black Ops 5. It all makes sense now. But I don't know, man. Crazy stuff. And so much drama in Call of Duty and developers right now, and then you have COD Mobile coming out. I wonder if that's just to brace themselves for in case the franchise falls apart and they're gonna go free. It's just so much stuff, and you can only sit here and speculate, like I said, but it's interesting to talk about. I want to talk about it some more, but we've already been talking for enough, talking way longer than I thought it was an issue. I thought it was gonna be a quick video. I just report the news, but yeah. So let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. There's so much to talk about. Do you think this is good for Call of Duty overall, or is this bad? Any thoughts? Let me know down below. Let's have a discussion down there, because this is juicy news. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, hit that like button, maybe subscribe, and turn on bell notifications if you want to get notified when all my videos go live in the future. You'll find links down below in the description for 10% off Control Freaks, as well as into the AM apparel. You also have my Amazon social link down there if you want to help support the channel that way. Also, Control Freaks, my code is up to 20% off until Sunday midnight this weekend. A little special promotion. But yeah, again, my name is Sinister Skater. Hope you guys enjoyed again. I'll catch you guys on the next video. Peace out.